Okay, let's wait a couple of minutes to make sure everybody was jumping into this session. Okay. So I believe for the exam information, I believe my colleague will send a registration link, and for the exam link, I think it will be assigned you in tomorrow's Zoom meeting. So please check your email and for the further information. Okay, we will first introduce Pi, which is our machine learning platform. And then we will go to the ACA Big Data certification exam part. For the machine learning of platform, there are several components in Pi. First, I think it is different components is for different scenario. This is auto learning for those enterprise or organizations do not want to put lots of effort to hire some big scientists to help them to do the business. It is very easy to use, like to do this image classification for animals. You can just upload your pictures and pick a label, give the animals a label, and you can upload your products to see you can tell which one is good, which one is bad. So it can help you to recognize that. So like in this one, we can just create several labels. Maybe this is for something like this. I think it is alpaca. And this is maybe second is horse. So there is a donkey. So you create those kind of labels and select the corresponding pictures. And the whole is, I think it is using the transformation learning to use some existing models help you to, you just upload your own pictures. It will help you to do the classification for the pictures. So I think I will label them as alpaca. Those are marked pictures. I think I have, okay. So those pictures are horse. I think this is donkey, so you can label as a horse. You can select all pictures. I believe this is a donkey left. So you can select label like donkey. So after you have all the pictures labeled, and you believe you can complete labeling, and it will give you an image statistics for that. I think the next step you'll be training the model to let the models recognize which one is which. Let's give you a 10 minutes training. If you have already existing label, you can also choose that. Start to train. I think it will take maybe 10 minutes to do that. You can view the logs to see what is going on actually during the process. Okay, let's go back to some other components. So this is auto-learning for you to easily deploy. No need for the data scientist role in your organization. And I think there's also not for recommendation for newsfeed. You can also log on to our Cloud Console and try that. I think we offer maybe 5 times a day for you to give a free try for this auto-learning. And if it is not open in your region, you can try to use the China mainland region. I think they will come in soon for some international region. Another, I believe, which we call the studio modeling visualization, I believe it will available in most of the region. And this is for the scenario that you have some business-oriented data scientists. They may not deep dive into the coding, but using drag and drop about the models and just tune the parameters, they can easily build one models for specific situations. Okay, let's go to one machine learning platform. So this is actually the homepage for the PyStudio. And we can go to the homepage to, you can build everything from scratch, just a new experiment, or you can build from a template. There's lots of template here listed here. Like we have a recommendation about the music, we have financial risk management, and credit score based on credit card usage, and some TensorFlow and prediction. So we're trying to this heart disease prediction, which I love to use this case. You can easily start from this model. You can just click create. So it will automatically deploy the whole project for you. Here is something just like the DataWorks, right? So we can give it a try run first, and we go in deep into each component to see what does it, what is its functionality. And the first one is, we can see that it's actually read max compute table. You can see from his note messaging. This is read max compute table, right? That means we fetch some data from raw data from max compute. So we right click and view the data. We can actually see the raw data. Those are the health examination data indicators. So for maybe the first line is age information, the second line is gender, and also for some blood pressure, chest pain type, something like that. We can see there's a number type of data and also have string type. And the next type we are going to use SQL statement. So that will help you to convert those string type into a data type, string type into a number type, right? So we can use a SQL statement to do some process, and then we use this component which we call data type conversion. we need to make sure all the data is not string type. It's just a double and integer and float type. And then it goes into the big normalization. So because usually if we want to do the feature learning, we need to make sure all the data are in the same range. That will have an equal chance to affect the whole feature result. So we can see that it is all between 0 and 1, right? All the data is between 0 and 1. And usually the normalization algorithm may be in each column you use the maximum number to minus the average number. So there is an average number and divided by maximum number minus the minimum number. So that's to guarantee every data is between 0 and 1. Then you split component to separate it between maybe 70% is for testing, for training, and the rest of it is for the training, the testing data. So 70% for training and 30% for testing. So then we use the binary classification algorithm, which is the logistic regression. You can use in drag and drop, and we can tune the parameters here, right? And we also provide some other binary classification like GBDT. If you don't want to use this one, you can use this one. Just let them finish, and you can using drag and drop and bypass this one. So, and this is the component, and finally you can generating one models. And we have two methods for you to do the evaluation. Two methods for you to do the evaluation. One is called confused matrix. Another is called AUC value. So we will wait for its finish and to see the evaluation report. There's more than 200 of the models here, and there's including some deep learning framework and reinforcement learning and TensorFlow time series, and even some algorithm in the fintech like the scorecard, So we also support have your own customized algorithm. You can upload and to combine with the existing models to train, to help you to better to create a better model. And this we also have deploy. So this is online services, and you can easily to deploy your models to the API gateway so that it can publish your service to the outside consumer. Okay, we finished running this one, and we want to go to this confused metric to see the evaluation report. So this is the confused metric. You can see this is a predict. It does not have the heart disease potential heart disease, but it's actually is one. It is have heart disease. So the less the better, right, of this number. So the predict and actual number are the same. So if it's the more the better. So that is confused matrix. You can either have the number or the proportion, right? Okay. So this is for confused matrix. Another is for the AUC value. And we can go to chart. You can see that it is the area under the curve. So it is the much more area is the better, right? So you can compare from different models. So this is actually for using drag and drop. You really don't need to dig into too much of the algorithm or even the coding. So you can just select the corresponding model and give the configuration for the parameters. So we also support AutoML. So it will detect you are using the logistic regression, and you can give it a range for each parameter. So it will automatically run and choose the best option for you. So using this AutoML. Okay, this is the PyStudio. And we also provide a service for the very experienced customer. They want to build all from scratch. So we provide the environment or the instance. So you can create one if it is no instance existing. If the building method is only pay as you go. And you can give it an instance name and choose it as CPU or GPU. And for each type, it will have different configuration for you to choose. Okay, you can see the CPU is much cheaper than the GPU resource. You can also choose the storage type. That will need you to do some pre-configuration and fetch the ID, NAS file system ID, so you can put it here. So this notebook, this is data science workshop, which we call DSW. It's totally built on ECS because we have ECS CPU version and ECS GPU version. And in the previous studio, using drag and drop, right? So it is based on mass compute. All of the calculation is based on mass compute, but this DSW is based on ECS. Okay, we launch this DSW. Okay, we go directly to this one. This is for experienced users. Let's go. This is actually what if you're the first time you log on to this DSW, you're gonna see this. We provide a notebook. We provide the Python notebook for PyTorch, TensorFlow. We also provide the console. That's like you're using Linux command line to issue the IPython, something like that. We also have the terminal. You can just open this terminal to type in some Linux command line. Okay, we use demo. I think it takes some time to do that. And I also already have this terminal, so you can just type in maybe using pipe to install. Maybe you can using sklearn, which I have already installed this sklearn. So you can type the Linux operating system command, something like this. You can go into this demo to see what is going on here. And here is the terminal. You can also open one Keras. I think Keras is it is deep learning tools that make it is this is a toolkit to make it easier for the maybe neural network. So when you create this one, it will be something like this. It will generate using this show model. It will generate in a graphic mode. You can type in each graphic and change its settings and can redirect to this code. So it will hand over all the permissions to the data scientist. You can build everything from scratch based on the resources here. And okay, so this is for the IPython notebook. You can use some DSW magic command and to connect some max compute tables and to do some selection using SQL statement. So you can do statistics against the result. It will give you something like this. All right, this is actually the DSW for machine learning, for deep learning. So you can also monitoring the resources you are actually occupying. If you are using more than one CPU or GPU, it can let you switch to CPU or GPU. And if some of you may have the testing code on CPU, and in the production environment, if you leverage the GPU, so we support you switch from that. In TensorFlow, some of the CPU or GPU usage may hard code in your script, so you need to pay attention to that too. So it will maybe go along with your code, not in this configuration. Okay, that's the Pi part. We provided the maybe auto learning for your easy to start, and for business oriented engineer, we use Studio using drag and drop, and for experienced data scientists, we are using this totally code interface for you to do some programming from scratch. Okay, you can just leveraging the scalability on cloud. So that's basically the Pi part. Okay, I think that's maybe all the products we are going to introduce. I think we will go into the examination part. So what we are going to take is actually the ACA Big Data. The ACA Big Data is actually more difficult than ACA Cloud Computing and ACA Security. I think because it's more difficult than those two. I believe most of you already passed ACA Cloud Computing and Security. But for the big data, you may need more effort to prepare. So what we are going to take is this exam. You can go to the edu.alibabacloud.com and go directly to certification tab, so you can find the exam information here, ACA Big Data Associate. And you can find some information here. I think the most important one will be you download this. There's an exam outline and sample questions. Let's first take a look at the exam content and the return. So we put the max compute is definitely the important part. So there's a 40% questions is about max compute. By the way, we create the exam questions because I am actually the one of the exam questions creator. So we create most of the questions just based on the official documents. So you can just go to maybe Alibaba Cloud /help. This is a document center, right? You can just go to search max compute. And you can go through those documentations. So we make most of the questions based on the official documents. I can say that. So if you're very familiar with the documentation, I think you can pass the exam. Okay, that's the first part, is mass compute. The second part will be the data works. And we have 21% for the MapReduce, and 6%, maybe 5 or 6 questions is about maybe visualization tools and the data consumption. The exam question type will be single selection, multiple selection. For multiple selection, we will tell how many options you're going to choose. We're going to tell you the correct answer, the number of correct answers. So you don't need to worry about that. There is only 10 questions about the multiple selection. And there's also 20 true or false questions. So about the true or false questions, there's one hint. So you need to remember, because we want to deliver the right information to our customers and to the exam takers. Even though for some reason the exam takers didn't pass the exam, but he can learn a lot from exam. So we want to deliver the right information. So I can say there's more true answers for the true or false questions than the false answers. So I can say if you cannot for sure if the questions is the description is true or false, I think you may choose the true answers. You may probably right. So that's for the one hint for true or false questions. Okay, we have 30 questions for the single selection. And we have 60 questions overall, and maybe pass the score. Pass the score is 65, is 65, not 60, right? You may need to pay attention to those basic distributed theory. And you can look up the official document and pay attention to those content. All right. So this is quick BI and the data V. Okay, let's go through some simple questions. Before that, I prepare some key point for you to prepare. So this document, you can pay more attention to this. This is quite important for you to pass the exam. I think the first one is for mass compute, right? We have maybe several questions for you to describe the use case for mass compute. The mass compute is fit for the green one. The green one is actually the right answer. It is the user scenario for mass compute, but the right one is not, because mass compute is for data. It's a PB level data warehouse. So It may not fast the response, but it's very stable and can deal with a large amount of data. If there is a terabyte or even a terabyte of data, so it can respond in a short time, in a reasonable time, than any other fast response database. So the max compute is for data warehouse, of course. Social networking analysis, of course. It can do user profiling, it can do. But it cannot do some transaction processing. It cannot support transaction. ACIDs, no. It is not faster response. It is not support for ad hoc queries. But we have plugins for this one. But if it is for you to choose, this may not option. But now we actually have the plugins like the Lightning, like the holograms. So we not for high concurrent user requests, we are not good at that because that is an OLTP database do that. Order management, that's also for OLTP. So this is a user scenario. And for mass compute command line interface, we use show tables just like MySQL database. You can show all the tables in the project. Using describe table, it can help you to recognize the schema and the size of space taken by this table. Dig diff to calculate the difference between the two time steps. So the max compute is have some SQL optimizer. It's totally based on cost-based optimizer and history-based optimizer. So I give you an explanation for that, but it's not rule-based, right? It's not rule-based. A rule-based optimizer is old-fashioned. I think Oracle 10G. If you are familiar with Oracle, it's a 9i and 10G may have the rule-based optimizer. After 10G, it's all cost-based or history-based. If history-based is using some AI algorithm to find optimize the path. Okay, the mass compute pricing. If it is in pay-as-you-go mode, it will charge from three aspects. One is the download, and for circle complexity, which is stand for the computing, and last is the data download from. This is for the data downloaded. For max compute client, we are using the ODPS CMD, and the max compute cannot provide. So you can check this for detailed information. We are using Tunnel to upload and download the data. So when the expression is in red, it means it is wrong. In Tunnel command line interface, we cannot directly write Python code, right? You can just type in, because ODPS CMD is written by Java, but you cannot directly type in Java code in this Tunnel command line interface. So this expression is wrong. So max computers cannot provide a circle functions for external interface. And so far it is not. We can use IntelliJ IDEA to do the data development. It is with low thresholds. But we recommend you to use DataWorks as mass compute client, which is recommended. For the purge, so we use this command to clear the information for the last 3 days. And for max compute security, this parameter you should pay attention to. That means if you set this project protection is true, that means you cannot select from the outside place of the data. You cannot select any data. Let the data go outside your project. So the access key part is including key ID and the key secret. No other else. For the ACL, it's not like traditional database. you need user use this project. 1, 2, 3, 4 other steps you need, but we don't need flush privilege. That's we need in MySQL database, right? But we don't need in this one. So the right one are the wrong information. We can using the ACL against the project, resource, and procedure. Okay, so that's maybe a multiple selection. Let you select the ACL object. So about the max compute resources, it also can be a multiple selection. It can can be a max compute resource, file, tables, and job packages and archive. So in DataWorks, we have 3-level structure consists of project, solution, and the business flow. So we can easily to find that because in the DataWorks, right? First, we have a project. We go into this project. We have business flow. We have solutions. Solution is you can put several business flow into one solution. So that's 3-level structure: project, solution, and business flow. So I will send this document to you to the Dinta group, and you can take for reference for the detailed information. I will not go to one by one and just highlight the key point. So the red ones are the wrong information. The work node type is for data synchronization, shell, mass compute, ODBS circle. You can take this for reference. Like in workflow, there is maybe ODPS SQL and script, Python, Spark, and even shell here. So, but no Scala, right? So here is no Scala. We don't support Scala. And the shell node support standard shell can run on default resource group. No. The shell task, it need you to buy a ECS as a exclusive resource group. Okay, so the wrong information are in red, so please pay attention to that. Function Studio support Python, Java, real-time compute, but no Scala, right? So alert policies in DataWorks, it can support email, text messages, webhook, protocols, like you said, that warning messages for DingTalk, but it does not. It will not telephone you and for or any other instance messages tools. Okay, this is for Data V. You can take it for reference, and this is for Quick BI, and this is for eMapReduce. And for eMapReduce, if you want to gather some log information from web servers, remember to use Flume, right? Because the Flume is used to gather log information from the web server. The questions may ask you if you have maybe hundreds of web servers. You want to gather the data from each of the server from the cluster. What tools you're going to use? So better to use Flow. And another for data integration is for the scoop. Scoop is actually a made-up word. It's the first letter is 2 letters from SQL and last 3 letters of the Hadoop. And if that means it can import the data from database into Max Compute or into Hadoop. Into Hadoop platform. So if some questions ask you if you want to migrate the data from MySQL database to Hadoop, what tools you're going to use? So you can choose Scoop. DTS is the data transformation services in Alibaba Cloud. So it can migrate your data with virtually no downtime. So no downtime is actually the key words. So DTS can support no downtime. If you migrate the Oracle database data to PolarDB in Alibaba Cloud, no downtime. Streaming data processing. So you can use those components to build your streaming data applications, right? Okay, so those are the traps, and they're actually wrong information, right? Like the max compute is 100 equivalent to half the. No, it's actually 99%. We cannot support some maybe Hadoop library dependency UDF. We cannot support that. So I put the wrong information here, and there is okay. I list some of the sample questions. You can try to answer that. Okay, the first one is for the column-based data security. It is in mass compute, and sorry, I think there's something is wrong. A. OK， 我看一下，好。Can you see the screen clearly? I got some response. There's you cannot see my screen clearly. Okay, how about I share this to the DingTalk group. Okay. You can download this documentation. I'm not sure what's happened. How about now? Okay. I think this something may go wrong just now. Okay, let's take a look at the sample questions. I think it is gonna help for this. You can just take a look. But what I'm going to tell you is the other place, the sample questions from the other place. So it is in our official document. You directly go to edualibaba.com and go into certification or ACA and sample questions. Okay, you can look at both of the sample questions and pay attention to those. I will pick some of them to give you an explanation. In this one, the first one is a user scenario, which is for Jack. So we like use Jack for our testing questions, right? Jack is administrator of a project 1, and Jack wants to protect the data. So what is following questions is necessary. It's just using this operation. I think I already mentioned in the key point document. So you just set this parameter. And what is the metadata in Hive? So as we explained, that the metadata in Hive is actually stored in RDBMS, like in MySQL. So this is for Hive. This is a large. This is max compute task contains computational task and non-computational task. That means some of the following statements may not need to calculate. Like describe. Describe is actually just to look up the metadata, right? The table schema. It will fetch the data from the database and not in the distributed file system, and don't need to do the calculation. And so that's the number B, auto table. You just change this table schema. It's just the metadata, right? And also truncate the table. But the third one, if you want to calculate the count, is actually the counting how much data is in this table. So that may need to have some calculations in the cluster. So this is a computational task. I think it share the same concept as Hive. Okay, this one, when we use max compute tunnel command to upload one file to your max compute table, this question is you just remember that it is in the red grammar. No brace, I think there's a comma. So A is correct. And for you to job one partition, you can job this one. Okay, for did we, you can go back to check the detailed information. And this one is for eMapReduce and for Hadoop ecosystem. It is said if you want to understand more about how users browse your public website, for example, you want to know which page they visit prior to placing an order. So that is a user behavior analysis. So you have a server farm of 100 web servers hosting your website. Which of the most efficient process to gather those web servers cross-log into traditional Hadoop ecosystem? So use Flume, right? Use Flume. The Flume is doing that. So we in the Alibaba Cloud eMapReduce, we also integrate the Flume. And for number 9, your company is actually store user perform record in an OLTP database. You want to join those data record with web server logs you have already ingested to Hadoop file system. So the best way to do that is Scoop. Scoop is used to ingest the SQL statement into Alibaba Cloud statement. You are working on a project where you need to chain together about the MapReduce job and Hive jobs. So this is actually a Hadoop ecosystem question. If you want to chain those jobs, and you may need okay, let's take a look. Which ecosystem project should be used to perform those actions? I think this question you can choose. I think the right answer is the third one, not the second one. I probably make the wrong mark. It is third one. As some of you may know about that, the Woozy can, and Airflow and Azkaban can do the same thing, that you can chain different jobs in Hadoop to make a workflow. So that's why we need DataWorks to do that. So DataWorks can easily drag and drop to form a workflow, right? So this, I think it is for number. It is a C option, not B. I can say that for sure. It is C. Please don't choose B, right? I will modify that immediately after this this session. Okay, in DataWorks, we support 2 warning messages. One is for email, another for text messages. So we already explained that, right? And which are following task type does DataWorks support? We do support this 4, but we cannot support Scala type. Okay, those you can take for reference. And there are 3 types, 3 status for a job is running, which is number 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is for a true or false questions, and the number 1 is actually correct one because it's can only join only one organization that uses DataWorks. Number 2 is actually a false expression because the minimum scheduling level is only 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Every option less than 5 minutes is wrong. So not seconds, right? Not seconds. Max Compute SQL it can improve through creating proper index in the table. That is not true because in the data warehouse applications, we do not create so much index because index is used for you select a small data set from a large data set. But in the Max Compute or in the data warehouse applications, we actually to manipulate large amount of data from large amount of data, right? So we do not index. Okay, that's the maybe sample questions. You're gonna to help you to prepare for the examination. That will let you to know what is the exam looks like. So after you're taking the ACA part, I think you can try ACP. ACP is more technical, just for engineers to use the platform. And that may need you to read more detail about offshore documents. Okay, it is not easy for you to pass the ACA big data. I should say that you may have a good look at the offshore documents, at least in the exam outline or to the sample questions. Okay, I think that's all from my side for this session today. We have described about the big data components in Alibaba Cloud. Briefly, we didn't go to some detailed information for each products. We may take maybe 1 day just for one single product. There's lots of information. And thanks for your time and good luck with your exam tomorrow. Okay, I think that's all from my part. And thank you. Bye-bye.